Welcome to In the Kitchen with Dinah. Today we're making beef tortellini soup.
Someone's in the kitchen with Dinah. Someone's in the kitchen, I know. Someone's in the kitchen with Dinah. Gonna taste good, I know.
During these winter months, I always love to have a pot of hearty, savory soup on the stove for lunch or for dinner. This is great for leftovers. It's super savory, super easy, and I'm going to walk you through it today. Most of these you might even have in your pantry. So we're going to start off. We're going to put 11 ingredients into this pot here first. So the first thing I did was I browned 1 pound of ground beef. I put onion, I have put salt and pepper and garlic on it. So in there it goes. Probably should turn on my burner. Okay, next ingredient is probably the only time I used boxed beef broth is in this recipe because it takes 2 full ones and it's just super easy. So you want 8 cups of beef broth. The original recipe, I'll just say, called for 7. And I learned, since I've made it for so long, that I needed the extra cup of beef broth at the end when I threw all the tortellini noodles in because they really soak up the broth. Okay, so we've got 2 boxes of beef broth. We're going to add 3/4 a cup of onion, 3/4 a cup of carrot, 3/4 a cup of celery, and you want them pretty small. They're going to cook in the whole soup, but this is one part where you don't want big chunks. We also need 3/4 of a cup of ketchup. Now I realize that's kind of an interesting ingredient for soup, but ketchup really has a lot of extra ingredients and flavor. Come on. That's so satisfying. And it really adds great depth of flavor, especially to this soup. So in that goes. And then also we need 2 cans of stewed tomatoes. And usually, I'm just gonna reach my finger in here. The stewed tomatoes usually come sliced. They're sliced Roma tomatoes. And I don't necessarily like big chunks of tomato in my soup. And I know my kids didn't either when they were younger. So I just take my clean pair of kitchen shears and I go and I cut up and almost dice them. I think at one point I did find diced stewed tomatoes, but I can't find them anymore. So I just do this. It works. Just make sure your kitchen scissors are clean.
That's what they're for.
That's what they're for, that's right. Okay, that looks better. And 2 counts and in they go. All right, we also have 1 tablespoon of dried basil. That's not going to fit. And then I have 1½ teaspoons of seasoned salt. And I'm only going to fill this up halfway since 3 teaspoons equal a tablespoon. And 1/4 teaspoon of pepper. That's how you get your workout. Okay, let's give this a good stir. Oh, it smells delicious already. This is one of my favorite soups that I make. I know everything's my favorite, but if I didn't share it with you, I wouldn't like it. And a teaspoon of sugar. This is gonna cut the acidity of the tomatoes in there. And the last ingredient is we got 4 bay leaves. To toss that in, that's gonna give it flavor and also helps with tenderizing everything. Okay, so we're gonna let this simmer for a half an hour and then we will put in our tortellinis. I'm gonna keep that up till I get it to a boil. Bring it to a boil before you turn it down. So I'm gonna wait for a second because the beef broth was in the pantry and it's cold in there, so. I'm gonna let this hang out. Oh, yum. Let this hang out, bring it to a boil, turn it down to simmer and put the lid on it for half an hour and then I'll be back. So that was our timer. It's been simmering for half an hour. Pull this off. Oh, it smells so good. Give it a good stir. You want to leave the bay leaves in still and not, we'll take them out at the very end. So all the vegetables, everything's in here is nice and tender. So now what you're going to do is add 1.5 cups of tortellini. You can use the dry ones you find in the pasta aisle. I happen to like the fresh ones in the refrigerator section aisle. Just cook them to package instructions. The reason I like the refrigerator ones better is because sometimes the dried pasta ones, when they're boiled, they like break open and the cheese squirts out everywhere into the soup. And because these are fresh, they take about 7 minutes to cook and they just seem to hold together better. So it calls for 1.5 cups. I usually go over. Woo! Well, there's 2. Call that good. So gently put these in. And we're gonna simmer that real gently. It's gonna pull the heat down a little just because you added something cold. And now you're just gonna cook this to package instructions, which is 7 minutes. And we'll be back to finish the soup off. All right, so my timer for the pasta just went. This is the amazing thing. Remember those little tiny things we put in there? Boom! So at this point, I just kill the heat because it is so hot. Give it a very gentle stir. And if you can, try to find the leaves we put in. If you can't, oh, here's one. I've got them in my bowl and I just peel them out. It's not a big deal to me. But if you're serving this to guests, don't eat those. Those don't taste very good. All right. Oh, this looks delicious and it smells so good. So I just grab a big old bowl. Yum. Oh, there's another one. Well, we're at 75% found. Oh, they're hot. Then you enjoy this. Now, I would take a bite for you, but it would burn my mouth off, and I don't want to get, I want to enjoy my food the rest of the day. So then, I mean, if you want, you can sprinkle a little Parmesan cheese on it, serve it with some homemade bread or a roll or something like that. It's a great addition. This is really hot. I want to say thank you for being in the kitchen with me today as we made beef tortellini soup. I hope your day is going well. Thank you again for watching. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up, subscribe, and turn on the bell for notifications because I got more delicious recipes coming your way. I wish you the best and have a terrific day. I look fine, like I ran to the store and everything. You always say that and then I'm like, my hair was freaked out.
Okay, wait, hold on. Your thing's a little crooked, just a tiny bit. Okay, how's that? I got you a little something.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, here we go.
Beef tortellini soup is one of my favorite soups. What? Oh, sorry. It's one of my favorites. Hashtag
It's my favorite.
Jam. Ready?
Yeah.
Billy-I-O. Gonna taste good, I know.
Join me on Instagram for my super awesomeness.
Something like that.
I'm a photogrammacarnist.